ქართველი ჟურნალისტებიდან თუ ვინმეს გაგაჩნიათ კითხვები დასვათ თუ შეიძლება. საბა. კარგით მე
მივესალმები ჩვენ სტუმრებს, მაინტერესებს ჯგუფის ლიდერია და აუცილებლად თქვა გამარჯვებისთვის არის სამი ქულისთვის არის ჩამოსული თუ საქართველოს ნაკრებთან ფრედს მისაღების შედეგი იქნება სტუმრად იმის გათვალისწინებით რომ ქართველებმა წინა ტურში დანიას დააკარგინეს ქულები რომელიც ასევე იბრძვის ჯგუფიდან გასვლისთვის რა.
As a group leader, are you here for 3 points alone? But considering the last game, Georgia played quite well against Denmark, got a point against them. Would a point be acceptable for you as well?
Please understand, we respect Georgia. It's a very good team. I said, please understand, we respect Georgia. It's a very good team. The performance against Denmark didn't surprise me. And actually, towards the end of the game, we were watching it, we thought Georgia looked like the stronger team at the end and might win it. But that aside, we travelled to Denmark and tried to win that game, and we'll be doing exactly the same here. We don't take anything for granted, we'll be well prepared, and as I said, we respect Georgia as a very difficult opponent.
ანუ გთხოვთ რომ სწორად გამიგოთ ჩვენ საქართველოს ნაკრებს დიდ პატივს ვცემთ ეს ძალიან კარგი გუნდია დანიასთან შესანიშნავად ითამაშეს მე ვუყურე თამაშს და ფიქრობდი რომ არა მხოლოდ ერთი ქულა დაიმსახურა საქართველოს ნაკრებმა არამედ ბოლოს რომ გაემარჯვა ესეც დამსახურებული იქნებოდა თუმცა ჩვენ დანიაშიც სამი ქულისთვის მივემგზავრებოდით და რა თქმა უნდა აქაც იგივე მიზანი გაგვაჩნია საბა
მოგესალმებით, მაინტერესებს რამდენად სრული შემადგენლობით აირლანდიის ნაკრები ჩამოსული და ასევე მაინტერესებს შედგება თუ არა ხვალ არონ კონოლის დებიუტი ირლანდიის ნაკრებში.
And how far are you here with the strongest team? Do you have any injury problems and can we expect Aaron Connolly to debut tomorrow?
Well, I'm not going to tell you the team quite clearly who's going to play, but we have, I think it's been widely publicised that we've got a suspension and we've had 2 injuries to centre-backs and one to David McGoldrick. Fortunately, Big Shane's in, he's travelled. He'll be training today. So we've got a couple missing, but it's for me it's never about the ones who aren't here. It's always about the players that are here, because the ones who are not here, the ones who are suspended, they've contributed greatly to what we've done so far. But it's time for somebody else to play. So it's about the lads that turn up.
ანუ ხვალინდელ შემადგენლობას ვერ დაგისახელებთ, მაგრამ ცნობილია რომ ჩვენ რამდენიმე მოთამაშე დაგვაკლდება დისკვალიფიკაციის და ტრავმების გამო. თუმცა ეს ჩემთვის დიდი პრობლემას არ წარმოადგენს. აი რამე თუ კი მართალია ეს მოთამაშეები რომლებიც ჩვენ დაგვაკლდებიან მათ დიდი როლი ითამაშეს აქამდე ჩვენთვის, თუმცა სხვებს მიეცემათ ახლა შანსი და მე დარწმუნებული ვარ რომ ღირსეულად ჩაანაცვლებენ ამ ფეხბურთელებს. კიდევ თუ არის შეკითხვები ქართველი ჟურნალისტებისგან. Okay, I think we can
thank you.
Through, yeah.
So we'll start the Irish journalists now, please. So those travelling with the Ireland team. Tony. Yeah, sorry, there's no embargoes, no anything. This is all one press conference. Thank you.
Mick, with regard to Shane Duffy, I presume he got the extra leg room on the flight. Did he wear flight socks? I mean, how is the injury? How is he feeling?
He's fine. He turned up. Yeah, I wouldn't let him train yesterday. I told him he couldn't train, and he said, "Why?" I said, "Because I said so." I'd been asked by Brighton. He'd done 3 days in a row, which is fair enough, and it was a rest day, so a recovery day, as they now call it. And he's done that, but he'll be training today. He's fine. He wanted to train yesterday, but I think the club, and I have to say, they've been very good about it and letting him come. If he's fit, he comes anyway, but I would say thank you to Brian because they've been good about it.
So has he done full running on it, and has he tested it?
Yeah, he trained with the team on Wednesday, the day before he came. Trained fully this week.
So would you say he's 100% fit?
He's fit to play. Yeah, he probably had, what was he saying, 8 or 9 days off, maybe 7 before he started back jogging. So he's only had that, and he's been training them for the rest of the time. And he missed yesterday as a recovery day, and I'm cool with that. I don't need him to run around here. I want him to run around on Saturday if he's fit to run.
That sounds like he's in your team then. You've got other issues regarding your backline because obviously Genda Stevens is
ridiculous. It would be kind of ridiculous of me, the way he's played, the way he's performed, if he's fit, for him not to be in my team, wouldn't it? So, you know, if you're looking for one starter, then Shane Duffy, he's just been outstanding. So I'd be bonkers to leave him out.
And Stevens is suspended, as I say, so you've got a couple of decisions to make there. Is it as simple as putting Matt Doherty in at left back?
No, I've got a couple of options. I've been impressed actually with Derek Williams coming in. He's trained exceptionally well actually. But Matt Doherty can play either fullback. He did it for a couple of years for Wolves very successfully, so it's nice to have a couple of options.
And with regard to Aaron Connolly, I think you were asked the question, but is it going to be a debut for him at some stage tomorrow, do you think?
Well, he's in the squad, so he's quite clearly got a chance to do that. I did have a concern about James. I said he had a stiff back at the beginning of the week, but he's recovering. He's no problem. He's trained just as well as he always has. And I know Aaron can play on the left. That's where I first really saw him, as well as anything. He was devastating playing from that position, to be quite honest, in the 21s. But he plays up front in a 2 with Brighton, so there's an option as well. He's looked very good in training. He hasn't looked out of place at all.
This is the business end of the group, really, and you've put yourself in a great position. Have you allowed yourself to think about a win here and what it'll mean?
The amount of times I've been asked about what results would I like and what results would suit me fine. Well, to win here tomorrow would suit me fine, and that's the result I'd like. And then we can start preparing for Switzerland.
And is there any other result in the Denmark-Switzerland game that you'd especially like? Have you thought about the permutations?
Not really, because it drives you mad when you start doing that. Everybody's asking me that as well, and the only performance and result that we can influence is this one here. So worrying about what anybody else might do, it'll work itself out. We'll find out on the 18th, won't we, what's happened. Let's try and win this game first. And trying to look ahead and plan when we've got a really important game against a good team is ridiculous, I think.
Okay. Seamus, can I ask you about the prospect of facing Georgia again? It's one of the countries you scored against, isn't it?
Yeah, got my first and only goal so far against Georgia. But no, as everyone has talked about, it's a team that we respect massively, and no way coming here thinking that we can just walk home with all 3 points. And I think from the first time I played them to now, the improvements in them as a team and the way they play has been immense, really. So all credit to Georgia for that, and we're coming here respecting them for what they're good at, and it'll be a tough game, and we need to make sure that we're at it. And look, we win the game as well.
The most relevant game, though, probably the one in Dublin, in terms of comparisons?
The game that we just played, yeah. Look, we that night, the manager wanted us on the front foot, you know, to get at them early, and I thought we did that, and we set the tone for the game. And coming here, we'll try and do something similar, but, you know, they're a good team, so we have to be prepared for whatever comes at us. And as I said, we're fully prepared, and we want all 3 points, but we respect them massively.
Thank you.
Hi, Mick. Obviously, no David McGoldrick. Does it, whoever you put in there, affect the way that you will play tomorrow?
No, we'll be playing the same way, I guess. Hopefully we'll play as well as we did in the last game against them. No, David is being excellent, but as I said, it's about whoever plays in the game tomorrow.
Has he got a chance for Tuesday still?
I think a slim chance, and he wouldn't be a starter. He's been nearly 3 weeks now, but if he'd been training over the weekend and he was okay, and Sheffield United said, look, he looks fit and sharp, then he'd certainly have a chance to be involved.
And before the game against Georgia at the Aviva, you spoke about them having a lot of possession. How similar or different do you think tomorrow's game will be in terms of the rhythm of it?
It will depend on how much we allow them to have possession, I guess, and how much possession we have and what we do with it. But they are a very possession-based technical team. They always try to get on the ball. They try to dominate you with that and force you back and keep you penned in your half, which I've seen them do. We have to try and make sure that they don't. That's with the ball and without the ball. We've got to try and keep it and try to be possession-based ourselves here, because might be 25 degrees when we're playing as well. That will have an effect on it, I'm sure. The lads have... We've gone back to 10 degrees playing on a Saturday afternoon now, and Tuesday night. So yeah, we're going to have to be equally as good with it as we are without it to try and stop them, because they are a very good side. I thought they played second half against Denmark was a really good performance.
Thank you.
Owen Cowser, please.
Hi, Mick. Vladimir Weiss was in here before you, and he described Ireland as being like Michael Flatley. Is that something you take, or do you have anyone else in mind who you compare your team to?
I don't know how to answer that, actually. I'm not usually that stuck for words, but who described us as Michael Flatley?
Vladimir Weiss.
Sorry?
The Georgian manager.
The Georgian manager. Oh, I see. Oh, I thought he meant we got good feet when we got the ball. And, I think when somebody describes you as somebody who is as brilliant as Michael Flatley and such a wonderful performer and dancer, and a good guy actually, I'll take that as a huge compliment as my team, yeah. If anybody was as good at his sport, his discipline, his whatever it is, yeah, because he's excellent at it. So I'll take that as a huge compliment.
Mick, on Aaron Connolly, Richard Dunn said today that he sees similarity to Robbie Keane in terms of that carefree attitude and that little bit of cheek about him. Do you see that comparison?
Who said that, sorry?
Richard Dunn has compared Aaron to Robbie Keane in terms of that sort of carefree youth when he first burst on the scene.
If you don't mind, I'll wait and see him have a few games and see how well he does before I'm going to start comparing him to Robbie Keane in any shape or form. I think we should just let him make his debut. Let him make his debut when he does. Let's see how he does, and then I'd love to be comparing him to Robbie at some stage, but I'm not going to start that now.
Seamus as well. What have you thought of Aaron when you've seen him in training this week?
Yeah, he's been lively. He's been sharp. A nice lad as well. And look, it was great for us to see him score the 2 goals in the Premier League. It's good for Irish football, and as the manager says, if he plays a part, let's hope that he can have an impact, and it will be great for us all to see that. But well done to him, and he's done well.
Philip.
For Seamus, happy birthday.
Thanks.
You're getting younger.
I am, yeah.
You've had a lot of players play in front of you over the last 6-7 years as Irish right back. There's a possibility Callum Robinson might be in that position. Just generally, a thought about him and what he has brought to the team in the last 10 games, or the last 12 months he's been involved. We spoke to him during the week. He's a very upbeat guy, a very bubbly guy. And he did say your first match against Gibraltar, you didn't quite gel, but as the game went on, you were getting there. Just a thought on him and playing behind him. Thank you.
Yeah, he's again a good lad. He's come in. He wants to do really well for Ireland, and you know he's got his move to the Premier League, and I'm sure that's given him some confidence. And yeah, look, it's good to play with him. I think we done all right in the last game we played together. We could do better, but that happens in games, and you know, whatever the manager decides, whoever he puts in front of who, if I play, if I don't play, if someone's in front of me or not, then you know we know each other inside out, and we work hard for the team, and the team will always come first. But no, I've enjoyed playing with him when I did get to play with him that game. Yeah.
Emmett. Mike.
Mick, you talk, as you always do, about the respect that you pay the opponents. In terms of results, though, I mean, Georgia have played us 10 times, only one draw to show for that, some good performances. They're desperate to win this game. Would you said before, I think it was the Switzerland game, that you'd take the draw if it was offered to you. Would you say the same now? Because Denmark came here, and it does, for all the respect that you offer Georgia, it did feel like 2 points dropped for Denmark. What's your view on that now?
I think I've said whenever we go away to play an opponent who are as capable as these, I wouldn't have said that in Gibraltar, and that nearly happened. But if we end up with a point out of here, I'm going to have to go away happy, aren't I? But we're coming to try and win the game. I just don't get anybody that would think we should just come here and win this game, especially after having seen them play against Denmark and the way they played. And actually the way they played against us at our place in the Aviva, because we had a few more chances, could have scored, but they had a couple of really good chances as well. Dan and Randolph made a couple of good saves. They are a threat from free kicks and corners. They've got big guys. We're coming here to try and win it, Emmett, but if we take a point away, then that's what we're going to have to be happy with.
Chop here. Mick, Vladimir Weiss before yourself spoke about the importance of his midfield and how they played against Denmark in their previous qualifier. I'm just wondering if you're going with the same approach with or without David McGoldrick, what are you looking for from your midfield tomorrow night?
What am I looking from? Sorry?
Midfield.
From the midfield players? Well, the midfield players have been excellent. And equally the ones that came in against Bulgaria. Josh Cullum gets the man of the match, and Brownie gets his goal. But the three lads who have been playing in most of the games, and I think all of the games, Glenn didn't play against Gibraltar, but they've been excellent in terms of what I've asked them to do, get behind the ball. They've both contributed with goals, the two more forward-thinking ones, and Glenn has been as solid as anybody. So we've had, and I could include Jack in that, of course. Jack's 25-30 minutes performance, Jack Byrne, when he came on, was very, very good.
How much has that performance of Jack Burns done to put him into your thinking as regards a playing role at some stage tomorrow night?
Well, he's in the squad.
Sorry, Ed and then Paul.
Mick, just in your experience as a both a player and a coach, when you're coming up against a team who are perhaps out of contention of qualifying from the group, do you find that maybe a quick positive start is vital to maybe break their spirits to a certain extent? Is that something you might see happening tomorrow?
I actually think playing against any team, a quick positive start is the way to start a football match, if you can get that. I'm a bit at odds with that if they've got no chance of qualifying, as you're saying, is that they've got nothing really to lose. They can be more relaxed than we are. We've still got a chance of qualifying through those top two spots, and it puts the pressure on us. I get by the suggestion almost of the questions that we're expected to come here and win, and as we've just seen with Denmark, that's not always possible. Will they be more relaxed? Will they be blasé about it? I don't think so. I think we're desperate to beat us on their home soil, and whatever they've already got a playoff spot, I believe. So whatever they're doing, they'll want good results to have momentum to go into a playoff, whoever they might get.
Paul, and just last couple of questions, please.
Mick, you alluded to there a few minutes ago, but the possible heat tomorrow at 20-25 degrees, which could be quite hot. You want to play in the front foot, you've done that so far, but you're going to have to temper that a bit maybe and have spells where you maybe have to sit back just to get a bit of an energy and go for it again.
Well, how's about sitting back? How's about having the ball? How's about having a bit of a breather with the ball and passing it and keeping hold of it and not necessarily going forward? So there's other ways of doing that, but I've no doubt we will have to not necessarily sit back, but they are good in possession, and if they get good possession, which they try to do from everything, from throw-ins, from goal kicks, from restarts, they'll make us work. They keep the ball, they shift you, they pass it quickly and slickly. So we've got to do the same, but we'll be playing the same way. We're not changing.
Philip, sorry again, a second one from me. Mick, just finally, James Collins has only played half an hour of international football. in that half an hour, he did very well against Bulgaria. It was a friendly. Is he somebody that you would be fearful of throwing in tomorrow, even
No.
from the start? Yeah.
No.
And why? Why do you think? What can he bring?
Well, I guess, you know, it's interesting now. I'm sure people are pushing for Aaron Connolly to make a start. He's not had any international football at all, or not been in the squad up until now. Why would I not? Because I trust the players when they come in. I trust them for what they do. I trust them how they come in and train. It's not only just seeing him in the half an hour of the international football where I thought he was excellent, actually. It's when he comes and trains with the lads and he doesn't look out of place and he's fitted in and he looks every bit the international player with us. So I trust the lads, and there's no point having them in the squad if I don't. There's no point. You know, you've got to believe in him, and I would with him if I'm going to play him, no doubt.
And mentally, is he strong enough for a challenge like this? From what you've seen, being around him.
He's as mentally strong enough as any of the others that would be putting up front anyway, so I've no doubt about that. He's been around a long time, you know. I'll give him his mental strength. He's coming from Aston Villa and playing and then going out to, went out to Shrewsbury, he was up in Scotland, he's moved out, he's scored wherever he's been, James. And I think for him to get in the squad now, how he's done, shows a huge amount of dedication, hard work and mental strength to keep going and get his cap and get his first goal, which was brilliant for him. So, no, if I decide to pick him, I've no worries about him.
Last question, Paul.
Mick, obviously, when Chris Newton was at striking, you would have had plenty of cooperation. Has Graham Potter been on the phone with Graham, talking through the situation?
No. No, we've been talking to the physios. Well, the physio, I've been talking to the physios, the doctor to the doctor. I've spoken to Dan Ashworth, the director of football, but I haven't spoken to Graham Potter, no.
Yeah, very last one, please.
Aaron Connolly spoke in the day about when he was told he wanted his number. He thought it was a wind-up. What was that conversation like? Did you convince him it was you? I mean, a fairly unmistakable voice.
Yeah, but there's a number of people that take me off fairly well as well, so apparently it's a very easy one to take off, Quinn, isn't it? So I did say to him to text him my number so he knew when I was calling him, but even when I called him I said, look Aaron, it's Mick McCarthy, and it is Mick McCarthy, it's not somebody who's taking him off. How I can convince him of that I don't know, because somebody else could say that to him. Anyway, believe me, he was all right. He knew he was getting the call because he'd been texted.
Okay, thank you very much. Training is open for a few minutes. Thank you.
Oh, great.
Cheers.